Summer in Tokyo is extremely hot and humid, therefore I'm usually less motivated to heat up my kitchen, but keeping myself and my family stay healthy by whipping up some wholesome meals is always on top of my priority. So let's do a whole bunch of summer meal prepping together, specifically focusing on 5 different vegan dressings and how I turn them into delicious meals. Let's begin with the nori seaweed dressing. To the container, I just used a glass jar which had a pickles in it. In goes add 3 sheets of nori seaweed, tearing by hand, followed by half cup of hot water. Seaweed contains well-balanced multiple nutrients and high in fiber, but not particularly used in many dishes for some of you, other than probably sushi roll. In Japan, we are prominent in using seaweed in many variety of dishes. Making nori seaweed into paste is one of them. Let it sit until the nori seaweed becomes paste-like consistency, which took me about 5 minutes or so. At this point, add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of any neutral oil. I'm using flaxseed oil, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil. Make sure it's toasted. Then lastly, half teaspoon of black pepper. I'm running out of black pepper, so I'm using white pepper here. Close the lid and give it a good shake. Make sure the lid is tightened up, otherwise, it will make a nori disaster in your kitchen. It doesn't look appetizing at all, but please don't knock yourself until you try it at least once. It's so flavorful. Umami taste from nori seaweed, toasty nutty aroma from sesame oil, good balance of sweetness and savoriness from sugar and soy sauce. This dressing will go with pretty much anything from drizzling over the vegetable and tofu or to the rice. But today, let me show you a simple udon noodle salad. Boil frozen udon noodle for about 2 minutes until it's still al dente. I also like to use soba noodle since soba is my most favorite and cling to the nori seaweed dressing very well. If you are opting for soba, please follow the package instructions. Drain and rinse under the faucet to remove the starch, plus help to retain the texture by stopping the cooking process. Transfer to the bowl, followed by a big drop of nori dressing, probably about 1.5 tablespoons for 1 serving. We can always adjust it later. All that's left is adding your favorite vegetables. For my case, spinach, cherry tomatoes cut in half, and ground toasted sesame seeds. Mix them together. Taste test and add soy sauce if it's needed. If I'm not serving this to kids, I would add chili sauce or Japanese 7 spices for a touch of heat. If you think it's lacking in protein, go ahead and add some frozen edamame. This is a perfect refreshing lunch for hot summer. Next up, tofu mayo dressing. You might remember I shared homemade vegan tofu mayo on this channel. It was about 1.5 years ago. It's too good not to share with you again, since now we have a bigger community thanks to many of you. So thank you very much. For this time, not only showing you the tofu mayo recipe, but also creating 3 totally different dressings using this tofu mayo so that you can make a big batch of tofu mayo and enjoy them throughout the week without getting tired of them. Let's make tofu mayo first. To the bowl, add 300 grams of silken tofu, half tablespoon of rice vinegar, half tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 4 tablespoons of neutral oil. Again, I use flaxseed oil, which is high in omega-3 fat. Give it a good mix. The last time I showed you this recipe, I was using olive oil as opposed to opting for flaxseed oil. It was okay, but sometimes I find it a bit overpowering. So please try with both and let me know which one you like it better. Either the olive oil or flaxseed oil. I forgot to tell you that firm tofu is not suitable in this recipe, so please find silky, soft tofu for the creamy consistency. Transfer to the container and it will last a week in your fridge. It looks a bit too runny, but it will thicken up more as time passes. By the way, 2 more delicious dressing ideas are in my meal prep cookbook. They are my favorites and perfect for summer. The link is in the description box. Now we got the base, so let's transform this tofu mayo into 3 different even more tasty dressing. The first one is a combination of tofu mayo plus yuzu kosho. I have 3 tablespoons of vegan mayo, then just add a half teaspoon of yuzu kosho, then mix. That's it! Yuzu kosho is a citrus and chili flavored paste fermented with salt, zest and juice from yuzu and Japanese chili togarashi. It's spicy, tangy, and salty. We like to enjoy it with a hot pot. The Kokoreka package will send you to your door in case you want to try one for yourself. The link is in the description box. I like to top it on the grilled salmon because tofu mayo is pretty neutral in flavor and has a creamy texture. It complements the spiciness of yuzu kosho. If you want the yuzu flavor to be more pronounced, you can always add more. Just make sure to start adding small amounts and increase a little by little because yuzu kosho has a pretty intense spiciness in my opinion. The next one, miso tofu mayo dressing. Again, just mix 2 tablespoons of mayo with 1 teaspoon of miso paste. I like to add a half teaspoon of Japanese 7 spices, but to make it kids friendly, I didn't add it this time. The type of miso I used is yellow miso. I don't recommend red miso for this recipe, but otherwise any kind should go just fine. Kids go nuts with this dipping sauce. They usually don't eat carrot stick, but with this dipping sauce, they eat many variety of vegetable. If you have a picky ones, please try this out and let me know how it goes.
なんかきゅうり美味しい。
きゅうり美味しい？夏のお野菜だからね。きゅうり美味しいよね。
The third one is a curry tofu mayo. Combine 3 tablespoons of vegan mayo together with 1/4 teaspoon of curry powder and half teaspoon of maple syrup to cut through the spiciness. I personally love to drizzle over the roasted vegetable, but if you don't want to heat up the oven, it will be great to smother on the bread and make a sandwich. On to the last dressing, we have a caramelized onion dressing. Caramelized is so hard to pronounce. Caramelized? This might be the most versatile dressing for any Asian dish. Thinly sliced onion and saute them in pan with half teaspoon of salt. Cook it for about 10 minutes as splashing some water to deglaze the pan. Transfer directly to the container. Add a half teaspoon of sugar, 1 clove of grated garlic, 1.5 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, and half teaspoon of black pepper. Some of you might be wondering why you have a black pepper now, Miwa. Well, we went to the supermarket in the middle of shooting since we realized we actually need this black pepper for almost all recipes I'm introducing in today's video. So we have it now finally. Give it a good mix and keep it in the fridge for a week. It's a good addition to any cooked meal such as grilled fish, grilled vegetables, some type of stir fry or even fried rice. I top with simple veggie mixed rice, so let me show you. After rinse and soak the rice for 1 hour, drain and add water together with the soup stock powder. You can just opt for any bouillon cube you have on hand. Finally, chop carrot and green pepper. It doesn't have to be these 2 vegetables. In fact, kids hated green pepper. They are always brutally honest. So use what you think is the best for you and your loved ones. My kids love corn and onion. On top of the rice, add frozen beans. Mine is soybeans, chickpeas, green beans, and kidney beans, followed by chopped veggies. Bring it to the stove and cook it on high. Once it comes to a boil, reduce the heat to low and close the lid. Cook it for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, bring the heat to high for 15 seconds just to evaporate the excess moisture accumulating at the bottom. Then turn off the heat. Steam it for another 15 minutes with the lid on. Some of you ask me if I don't have a rice cooker at all, why I don't use a rice cooker at all. I use a rice cooker most of the time in my real life, so feel free to use a rice cooker for the sake of the convenience. I just wanted to show the way everyone can replicate in your kitchen. Then it's the moment of the truth. I already know that the kids hate green peppers and beans, so it's a dish of torture for them. But I was hoping this onion dressing will work its magic. However, it didn't happen. They said I prefer this dressing with just a plain bowl of rice. One day, I hope they will say and feel my effort and do the same to their kids. I don't want to end this video complaining about the motherhood, so overall, all the dressing were a big hit for my family. I love how versatile they are and I keep them happily in the fridge for at least 1 week. Now it's your turn. Which one called for your name? Please tag me on Instagram at Miwa Japanese Cooking Class if you make any of my recipes so that I can comment and share with my friends in this community. Thanks a lot for watching and thanks a lot for hanging out with me this far. I guess that's it for today. Bye bye. Mata ne.
お
いただきます。
どうぞ。お魚どう？おいしい？あ、よかった。辛
頭の方の方が美味しい。
ほんと。お魚辛くない？
全然辛くない。
辛くないんだ。すごい。おいしいどう？こちらさんは。お魚美味しかった？これと。